Hi travelers, Tara here. I just did, I think Jessica Adams just posted the June card of the month reading on her website, which was the Wheel of Fortune. And if you saw that already or you're watching this now, I said in that video at the end, I think I said it, that I was going to continue and do a second part and then post it up to the channel. And so this is the card. Now, the reading that I did for Jessica's website was basically um, a very general, broad meaning of what I saw for the month of June. But I've taken to lately pulling cards and leaving them out on my table, and coming in every day and kind of meditating and taking a little bit of notes on it. And the card that I pulled was the Wheel of Fortune. And this reading is going to be for America in general. Um, I want to be. I don't want to frighten people. That is not where I come from. But there is a lot happening right now behind the scenes, and a lot of this information has come to me through this particular card. And more than likely, I will go back and look at this situation again with the Nostradamus cards. But the messages that I've been receiving have been going out to around 2023, 2026. That's the year. Because we have a lot of energies happening, planetary energies happening. Pluto is making moves through Capricorn. Now, that's very, very important because he was in Capricorn, I think so, when America became a country. Okay, America, so I have my alternate chart. And Jessica has an alternate chart where she sets the, let me pull up that chart, where she sets the wheel for January 2nd, 1776, based upon the first time the term United States of America were ever used. And it was in a document written by, I don't know, one of the guys who was helping to write the, I don't know, Constitution, the Proclamation of Independence, whichever one of those things. And that's a really interesting date. In which case, that makes America a Capricorn. A lot of astrologers say that she's a Cancer, but I am with Jessica. I've been looking at this chart, and I am with Jessica. I'm a firm believer that, yes, America is a Capricorn. Her sun sits at 11 degrees Capricorn, conjunct the MC. And we have, oh wow, I didn't realize that. Okay. And we have Pluto just crossing the ascendant, so to speak, at 25 degrees Capricorn. So this is really about a nation reinventing herself and beginning to find her power and exert her power, because this is what Pluto was all about. And what I was just saying is, wow, I hadn't even looked at that chart together with that. Oh yeah, this is what I was talking to you about. And so this is about the birth of a nation. And so with this Wheel of Fortune, it represents the idea, yes, of Jupiter. Okay, and Jupiter is the king. He's numero uno. He's number one. We can say that America definitely used to be number one. Okay, is trying to reclaim that position, so to speak. Jupiter, or the sign of Sagittarius, also rules the law, both secular and religious. Okay, and so we know that America was founded on the idea, nation of laws, and not man, and the whole bit. We can also look at the idea that the country was, it was predicated, that the country was started based upon the idea of people coming over to find religious freedoms. But there's another component in that, and which is there was an economic benefit to them coming to America. You know, they had all of this land, there was all of these resources that they could just come in and take over and do whatever they wanted to do with it and make money off of it, yada yada yada, right? But we also know that the Wheel of Fortune deals with karma. And so this is really about, and this is what I see happening and what is coming up. The signs are very, very clear. This is about the karma of the nation. Now, you know, LGBTQ people have gotten their recognition. Asian Americans have gotten their recognition. You know, women have gotten their recognition. All groups except African Americans. And so for some of you who are watching this, I don't want you to take what I'm saying because it's about race. And race is a very, very uncomfortable subject. People want to talk about anything else but that. They want to pretend that it doesn't exist anymore. Or, you know, you guys already got your opportunities because you were able to do this, you were able to do that. But even still, the country has never really acknowledged the original sin of how this country was built. It was built on the backs of Africans. And what I am seeing with this is this idea of things moving backwards. So, you know, we know that there's this huge push to roll back, making it more difficult for people to vote. But there's something else going on here. This is really a rollback to another time. I finally finished that TV show, what do you call it? The Man in the High Castle. And we're in a place where we're dealing with a dual reality. You have half of the country who thinks, you know, that COVID's not real and Joe Biden wasn't elected and Donald Trump is still president and the country's run by cannibalistic, pedophilic, Satan worshipers, you know. And then we've got the other half that says, you know what, COVID is real. That's why we want to wear masks and be vaccinated. And yes, the elections were safe and secure and we elected who we elected. So there's this dual idea of realities going on at the same time. And I found that to be really interesting just now in looking at the chart. But what I feel is coming down the pike is, particularly as we get closer to the midterm elections in November 8th, 2022, there is a real drumbeat of people wanting to overthrow the government. I actually heard, I don't know if you guys remember that reading I did back about Myanmar and the coup that happened there, and then I had done the one on the insurrection in Washington D.C. that you know, and that was no accident. And so what we're hearing now are people asking, well, why can't we have a military coup like they did in Myanmar? Make no mistake, this election is going to be bloody. It is going to be intense. There will be people in the street ready to fight. All because we have a small group of people at the top who want to hang on to the laws and make the laws work only for them. And if, what I'm getting, there are any moves towards anything that's going to try to help Black people here in this country, it's really going to create a lot of problems. So this whole idea of the wheel turning back is a real deal. This whole idea of tolerance, because I spoke about tolerance in the reading that I did on Jessica's site. So we're going to see this idea of what used to be tolerated behavior kind of fall by the wayside. And we're already seeing that in some respects. People behaving badly and people not saying anything or not calling it out or not saying, you know what, that you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be saying that. There is a fear now of speaking against when you see things that you know are wrong. Why? Because we know that violence is an undercurrent of everything at this particular point. I I also mentioned this thing about local versus abroad or nearby versus far. That's a theme on a personal level. What we're going to be dealing with here in America, uh, particularly leading up to the midterm elections, is this idea of us versus them. Okay? Okay? Us versus the other. And so you are starting to hear this language, you're starting to see this language, and as we move along, as we near and get closer and closer to the midterm elections, you're really going to start to see it appear out in public, out in the open. These are very dangerous times that we are living in. In fact, I have had a sense of foreboding since probably, I want to say, March or April. I went out and bought myself my first handgun. I've been in Texas damn near 30 years, never owned a gun in my life. I went today and I purchased myself a handgun because something is coming down the pike that I don't think we could not even imagine. Again, as I say, I'm not trying to frighten you. I think if I had to, there's this particular, aspect in the chart. It's Pluto quincunx Mars on this particular day. And we had this, a quincunx, let me tell you what Sue Tompkins says about quincunxes. I think that was on page 50, I want to say it was 59. And most astrologers say that this is not a strong influence. They call it a weak influence. But the reason why I'm paying attention to it is because the slower a planet moves, the stronger it is, and the longer the influence. So this is going to be like a slow build-up, of anger, of people having grievances, folks, because people feel like they're losing their power. Okay, and this is the what they're being fed. And so Sue Tompkins says that. Hold on. It says that signs in quincunx do not confront each other as with oppositions or get in the way as with squares. They're coming from such completely different places and heading in such different directions that they don't even see each other. It's like two planes on an unrelated flight path. And what I'm taking that to mean is that while we're over here doing one thing, something else is happening. We're on two different paths, but eventually something occurs, okay? She says that whereas a square or an opposition might be a descriptive or major conflict to be resolved, and thus by extension, major drama to be enacted in life, the quincunx is more descriptive of some kind of additional irritation and stress. That there is usually a psychology behind this aspect and often a physical manifestation, but that the issues tend to be of secondary importance. And so kind of what I'm picking up is that everything that people are upset about and everything that people are fighting about is really of secondary importance. The main thing is this whole idea that America is on the precipice of not being a democratic country anymore, and that all of us are in danger of losing our freedoms. Do not assume that if they're making it more difficult for people, this is really not a race issue. This is a class issue, okay? So poor white people ain't going to be able to vote. Single moms, if they're working two jobs, ain't going to be able to vote. People who work a job that they won't let you off to go vote, okay, and you've only got a certain amount of time to get it done, and you can't do it between those hours, and you can't write in for a ballot, or you can't get to your poll station. They're shortening the hours. Lots of people are going to be affected. So you've got one group of people who are saying, we want our country back, this, that, and the other, right? And then, what does that mean for the rest of us? Right? And what do you want back? When you say those words, what is it that you're trying to return it to? This is the question. So everything else is secondary, okay, about what the grievances are or why there are grievances. This is just things that they're hearing to say, this is why you should be afraid, or this is why you should be angry. But it's really about those people at the top. That's what Capricorn represents. Those people at the very, very top, that 1% of the population who's got all of the money and all of the power, maintaining that control. The rest of us are peons and worker bees. Okay? That's really the truth of it. And so what is coming down the pike is this will go all the way back to Jupiter in Scorpio. It was in Libra in 2016. Jupiter in Scorpio can really represent corruption, greed, dark money, deals with the devil behind the scene. In the sign of Libra, this is partnerships. Okay, and so you're starting to see one group of our government align with fascist. Okay, not just white supremacist, but fascist. Today, Lieutenant Colonel Flynn, who was our national, is talking about it's okay that we should have a coup, like a military coup like they did in Myanmar, so that they can reinstall Trump. Well, that's not how elections work here. But what happened in Myanmar, if you don't know, is that the military overthrew a freely elected official through a democratic process, and they took power. But he was also talking about that in December. He went to the White House and told Trump, if he wanted to, he could take some military troops and put them in the swing states, and then use those military people to crack down and hold a whole new election. People, I'm deadly serious. Something is coming, and it has its roots all the way back to 2016, if not further back. Okay, we really don't know the whole story. But what you are seeing and what I'm picking up is this whole idea of the country moving backward in more ways than one. And we will all be affected in some way. This is what I wanted to bring. I want you to pay attention to what you are seeing. Pay attention to what you are hearing. And then start looking for how frequent you're seeing these things, right? What's the frequency? And where are those things occurring? Okay, because we're going to start seeing things show up in places that, you would never think, oh my God, what? And so it goes back to the original karma of the nation, and it is about the descendants of the African slaves being able to participate fully in this experiment that we call democracy. And I think that if the government makes any moves to extend voting rights or reparations, or even just the acknowledgement of the idea that yes, this country was founded on the backs of black people, that's going to open up the gates of hell. That's really how I'm seeing it. That's how I'm feeling it. And so this is a time where what I'm also picking up is that there will be random groups of people perpetrating violence on people. So please be careful when you go out. Be aware of your surroundings. Let people know where you're going and when they should expect you back. When you get there, text somebody, call somebody, let them know you got there safely, and then call them and say, I'm on my way back. This is going to be very, very ugly. But there's a completely different thing happening on the other side of the world. And I will come back later and do that reading. It's a completely different card. While all that foolishness is happening over here, there's something completely different happening in Europe. And I think that's going to be extremely interesting. And keep in mind that I'm talking about the wheel. Okay, things reversing themselves. Okay, and you go all the way back to the Second World War. Things reversing themselves. So chew on that for a little bit. That's what I have for you. I will be posting up probably in the next couple of days. I'm going to go ahead and post part one in case you haven't seen it on Jessica's website. I'm going to post that over to the website, put up a gallery for you. And then you can come back here and watch this part two. So again, this is not meant to scare you. It's going to take us a while, probably until 2023 to 2026. Keep in mind that we have another election coming up in 2024. So 2023 to 2026 are going to be the pivotal years. And it may be that we have to live under a dictatorship for a few years. Honestly, no joke. So, I'll keep checking on that. I'm going to consult Nostradamus to see if he has anything to say or to share. And so, lastly, I am working on the June readings. I've been behind the scenes doing some work on the tarot classes and trying to get the modules broken down so that I can start posting them up for you. I already have some stuff up. I just haven't taken it live yet. Because what I don't want is people to come in and, oh yeah, let me buy it, and I don't have the price points ready or broken down in chunks, you know, if I'm going to ask for all at once or do it by chunks or whatever the case. I don't know yet. So kind of bear with me. There are some new articles posted up. I think, in fact, before I get off of here, because I'm hungry, let me see what my last post was. I don't know if I posted it already. It was something that I was working on, and I don't know if that was let me take a look at this. I know I did the full moon in Sagittarius that occurred on the 26th, but there's another article that I have posted up about this that I'm talking about now. I don't even see it. How about that? It might be with that particular post. I don't know why I would have posted it with that. Let me see if I can view it. No, it was called and this was for memberships. I posted it on May 24th. It was about this card, the Wheel of Fortune, and I go a bit more in depth about that. It's called Tarot Predictions. I'm going to start writing out tarot predictions and posting them to the website, so you can go there. If you go to the main menu underneath Read the Blog, you should see a place that says Tarot Predictions, and this is where I have the more in-depth article with the charts and everything. And so that's what I have for you. I do hope the message is, helped you, or at least is putting you in the frame of mind to start paying attention. Pay attention, because something is coming, and it's going to be really ugly, people, and it's going to be really scary. And what we're supposed to do is try to keep ourselves in the center of the wheel. While all of this stuff may be happening or going on, we will serve ourselves and our loved ones better by being in the middle of the wheel. Okay? And so that's it. Until next time, be safe, be well. Namaste.